just moments ago, a new report has sent ripples through the Pentagon and intelligence circles. Officials are calling it one of Russia's boldest strategic moves in years, and it's raising serious questions about America's military readiness and global security. Could this be a sign of a calculated escalation, or simply a demonstration of power meant to test U.S. response? Tonight, we break down what this report reveals, why U.S. leaders are watching closely, and what it could mean for the Pentagon, NATO, and the world. Every decision made in the next few days could have far-reaching consequences, and you'll want to know exactly what's at stake. The recently declassified intelligence highlights several key developments in Russia's military positioning and strategic planning. Sources indicate that Russia has moved advanced assets to sensitive regions, upgraded its cyber capabilities, and conducted exercises that closely simulate potential scenarios involving NATO forces. What stands out is the precision of these actions. Nothing appears accidental. Each maneuver seems calculated to gauge the U.S. response, test vulnerabilities, and strengthen Russia's leverage in international negotiations. Pentagon analysts are poring over satellite imagery, communication intercepts, and logistics reports to understand the scale and purpose of these moves. Even minor shifts in Russia's deployments can have cascading effects, influencing decision-making not just in Washington, but in allied capitals across Europe and Asia. This report is being treated as a wake-up call, one that emphasizes how quickly the balance of power could shift if miscalculations occur. For U.S. military leaders, the timing and execution of Russia's moves are especially troubling. Officials fear that these actions could indicate a testing of America's readiness, both in terms of defense systems and rapid deployment capabilities. Questions inside the Pentagon revolve around several points. Are these exercises purely defensive? Are they intended as leverage for upcoming negotiations? Or is this the early stage of a broader strategic initiative? Beyond the immediate military implications, analysts warn that even small missteps or misinterpretations could escalate tensions unexpectedly. This is why top generals and advisors are studying every detail, preparing contingency plans, and coordinating with NATO partners to ensure no gap appears in the defense posture. Why is Russia taking these steps now? Experts suggest that multiple factors are driving Moscow's recent moves, each carefully calculated to advance its long-term strategic objectives. First, Russia appears intent on asserting influence over regions that are critical to its geopolitical ambitions. This includes key areas in Europe, where shifting alliances and military presence can significantly alter the balance of power, and even the Arctic, a region rich in resources and strategic positioning. By strengthening its foothold in these areas, Russia signals that it intends to remain a dominant player in both regional and global affairs. Second, these actions serve as a clear projection of power on the international stage. Through military exercises, strategic deployments, and synchronized maneuvers, Russia is sending a message not just to the United States and NATO, but to the world at large. It is a formidable actor whose moves must be carefully considered in global calculations. The goal is to shape perceptions, assert authority, and create leverage in ongoing diplomatic and security negotiations. Third, Russia is using these measures to test the resilience, readiness, and reaction times of American and allied forces. Every exercise, every mobilization, and every simulated scenario is an opportunity to identify strengths and weaknesses that could later influence negotiations or, in worst-case scenarios, be exploited in conflict situations. Together, these objectives reveal a nation meticulously calibrating its strategy, moving like a player on a complex global chessboard, ensuring that every action advances multiple goals simultaneously while maintaining flexibility for future opportunities and challenges. Washington faces a complex set of choices. On one hand, the U.S. can increase military readiness, conduct exercises of its own, and demonstrate deterrence. On the other, diplomatic channels remain open, with back-channel communication aimed at reducing misunderstandings and preventing unintended escalation. Coordination with NATO and regional partners is key. The US must ensure allies are informed and aligned, while also signaling to Russia that aggression will have serious consequences. Analysts note that maintaining this balance between strength and diplomacy is a tightrope walk, one that could define American foreign policy for months, or even years. Russia's recent actions are far from isolated. Their effects extend well beyond immediate regions of interest, sending ripples across the global landscape. One of the most immediate areas impacted is the energy sector. Russia plays a pivotal role in global energy markets, from oil exports to natural gas supplies, and any strategic moves or tensions can influence prices, disrupt supply chains, and force countries to reconsider energy security strategies. Businesses, investors, and governments alike are watching each fluctuation closely, knowing that even minor instability could have major consequences for economies worldwide. International trade is another area feeling the pressure. Ports, shipping routes, and cross border logistics can be affected by geopolitical tension, prompting companies to adjust shipping schedules, explore alternative trade corridors, or reconsider sourcing strategies. In industries like manufacturing, technology, and agriculture, these changes can cascade quickly, impacting not just regional economies, but global markets and consumer prices. Security alliances are also under scrutiny. Nations that depend on European stability are reassessing defense budgets, troop deployments, and intelligence sharing agreements, while diplomatic channels are being tested to ensure rapid coordination in times of crisis. Even small escalations or miscalculations could trigger wider policy shifts, making every decision by the United States, NATO, and allied nations critical to maintaining balance. The stakes are high because the world is closely watching this strategic game. Each maneuver, statement, or deployment carries implications far beyond the immediate context. From energy markets to defense policies, and from trade agreements to global diplomacy, what unfolds in the coming weeks and months could redefine the rules of international engagement and shape the geopolitical order for years to come. This is not the first time Russia has made moves that alarm the Pentagon. Past exercises, cyber operations, and strategic deployments have all been designed to test U.S. capabilities and gauge reactions. What makes this report stand out is the scale, precision, and timing. Unlike previous maneuvers, these actions appear synchronized across multiple domains: land, air, sea, and cyber. History shows that underestimating such carefully orchestrated moves can have severe consequences, making vigilance paramount. Several potential scenarios now face U.S. decision makers. The first involves controlled escalation, where both Russia and the U.S. maintain a tense but managed standoff. Military readiness remains high, but direct confrontation is avoided. The second is a diplomatic window, where back-channel negotiations reduce misunderstandings and establish new boundaries of engagement. A third, more concerning scenario is accidental miscalculation. Even a minor incident, like a misinterpreted exercise or a misfired missile warning, could rapidly spiral into a larger confrontation. Finally, though less likely, a full-scale strategic conflict could emerge if tensions continue unchecked and allies are drawn in. Pentagon officials stress that every choice made in the next few days is pivotal for national security, regional stability, and global peace. Inside the U.S., lawmakers and commentators are closely examining the report. Supporters of the administration emphasize the need for vigilance, praising military preparedness and strategic clarity. Critics argue that aggressive rhetoric or visible posturing may increase the risk of miscalculation. Public opinion is split, but one fact is clear: Americans are watching, and every statement from Washington is being dissected by analysts and media outlets alike. The next steps will not only define foreign policy, but could influence domestic confidence in national defense strategies. Tonight, the world is waiting for Russia's next move, and the Pentagon is responding carefully, but the situation is far from settled. Will diplomacy hold the line, or could a small misstep ignite a chain reaction with consequences no one predicted? We'll be monitoring developments closely, analyzing every statement, every military maneuver, and every strategic calculation, and breaking it all down for you with the clarity and context you need. Stay subscribed. Turn on notifications. Because what happens next could reshape global security, and you'll want to be here when the next chapter unfolds. We'll be watching closely, and so should you.